Hello, hi. Super glad and super proud to be partnering and sponsoring the Athena Hackathon. And thank you so much for all of you for joining, participating. I'm Marieke Flament. I'm the CEO of the NEAR Foundation. And in the next couple of minutes, I'll basically walk over with you and share with you what the NEAR protocol is all about, what the NEAR Foundation does, and how you can get involved. Before getting into that, I just want to say you have in your hands amazing skills to not only help change your lives, but also help change the world for the better. Some of the biggest world challenges that we have, we believe can be solved leveraging blockchain technology. And why not? By being built on NEAR. And so hopefully this can help inspire you into what you could do and what you can actually help think about and develop on NEAR. So without further ado, let me actually share my screen and share a little bit of content. So, NEAR, what is NEAR? What is it all about? At NEAR, we believe in a world where people control their assets, their data, and their power of governance, an open web world. And that's basically flipping the world as we know it, the world of Web 2, flipping that on its head and saying, what if we could actually own the data, the content, and the things that we produce? That's what we believe in, and that's what we're trying to build. NEAR protocol is a layer 1 protocol. And what we focus on as a layer 1 protocol is, number one, we actually are proof of stake and we are fully sharded. We are extremely focused on simplicity. So simplicity, not only for developers, but also simplicity for end users. We believe that it's actually fundamental that if we want the technologies that we create to be really adopted, that it's actually seamless for end users. And that's why simplicity is core to the NEAR protocol. Scalability and security are part of what is enabled through dynamic sharding, which means that actually the platform can scale indefinitely and completely, but also security thanks to our network of validators, which is continuously and constantly growing. So simplicity, scalability, security, those are some of the core themes of the NEAR protocol. But not only that, what we're extremely focused on is also sustainability. If we want to actually help solve the climate challenges, problems that we have, and help solve for some of the energy consumption that sometimes blockchain is a problem of, then actually leveraging proof of stake protocols is a solution. And so for that, NEAR actually being proof of stake has the ability and the unique possibility of being climate neutral. We're audited by South Pole, which is an organization we've been working with for now several years. Super proud to be doing that. And so simplicity, scalability, security, and sustainability are at the core of the NEAR protocol. Now, if you think of NEAR ecosystem, what is a crypto blockchain ecosystem actually can be wide and varied. And so this is how we think about it at NEAR. The bottom left side of the slide shows you the NEAR protocol, which is open source. And so on that NEAR protocol open source, you can actually have infrastructure that is being built on. So for example, Aurora is our EVM machine. Pagoda is our Web3 toolkit for developers. Calimero is our private shard. So the idea here is to say on the NEAR protocol, which is open source and on which contributors can continuously continue to help and add and develop, we have a bunch of infrastructure that can be continuously also developed to help projects being created. Projects, quite standard, but the way we think about projects and the family of projects is DeFi, creator economy, digital cooperatives, often also known as DAO. And then on the right-hand side of that slide, what you have is like how we continuously think about decentralizing what's happening in the NEAR ecosystem. At the bottom of it, the NEAR Foundation, and I'll come into like what's the role of the foundation is, but then you also have specialized labs. So for example, Human Guild is focused on video games, Proximity is focused on DeFi. We have ecosystem funds that are actually focused either on certain verticals or certain regions. In terms of numbers, it's fair to say NEAR has been growing quite actively and quite aggressively over the last couple of years and months, actually. So we have today over 2,000 active developers, over 600 projects, 600 active DAOs, 30 million wallet accounts, a community of over 400,000 people, and regional hubs that are continuously growing and being developed everywhere in the world, which is extremely Great to see. Now, as a foundation, what's our role and what do we do? And actually, how can we help also you think through what you can build for tomorrow? So as a foundation, we have three main responsibilities. Number one, we're here to help raise awareness of NEAR. Number two, we're here to help support projects that want to build on NEAR. And number three, we actually are here to help provide a clear and safe path to decentralization, and that thinking through governance, but also external engagement with regulatory policies making. So in terms of raising awareness, a great program that I highly encourage you to check out if you want to learn more about NEAR, what it takes to actually build on NEAR, is our university program. To date, we've trained over 50,000 students. We've given grants and ecosystem grants to people who actually want to start learning and who want to start actually putting their fit into the space. And we have over 20 programs and courses that are being developed and continue to add different programs. So check out NEAR University if you want to get accredited or actually just learn more about NEAR. In terms of support, we do have a very large grant program, and we can actually help support whether it's builders or entrepreneurs or projects from any size, either directly by providing grants, but also we can help refer projects to our backer network. And so, for example, say a project has a small seed and now have an MVP and they actually want to showcase that and to get help into fundraising, that's something that we can do in actually helping link people through our backers network. So for that, for knowing more about grants and accessibility to that, near.org is a great place /grants. In terms of ecosystem funds, so it's not only everything on the shoulder of the foundation, but we're continuously trying to add what do we call ecosystem funds. So those are folks that are focused on certain verticals, and actually their sole job is to say, if we're looking for projects within DeFi, how can we actually help not only fund this project, but also guide this project within the ecosystem and continue to build. So on that, some ecosystem funds, for example, in gaming, we have Human Guild. For DeFi, proximity, we're looking at creating one for the creator economy. So if you know anyone who's really into NFT or DAOs, definitely ping me. Accelerators, we have a bunch of different ecosystem funds, such as OWC, MetaWeb, and actually Move Capital in the UK, who are helping companies continuously accelerate. And then on sustainability, same, we're in the process of building a sustainability ecosystem fund. And so as a foundation, our role is to spearhead and actually help seed all those different ecosystem funds so that ultimately they have better, actually deeper understanding of what's going on and they can help through that. So that's one way where, as a foundation, we help continuously decentralize and help have more folks being empowered to build on NEAR. The other way is actually through regional hubs. And so we believe at NEAR that actually, while the technology we have are extremely global, there is nothing more powerful than very local community. You guys all speak English, but speaking English remains a privilege in our world. And so we must not forget that actually not everybody speaks English. And so being able to be very plugged into the local community, speaking their local language, organizing local meetups, and having the opportunity to create local events is super, super important and core to how we think at NEAR about continuously decentralizing what we do. And so on that front, for example, you can see that we do have a bunch of hubs and different places that are continuously being added to the map. So now, if we think about the future, and sometimes, if you think about the future, it's quite easy to get dark thoughts quite quickly. I know I do have those, because when you think about what's happening in the world today, we have challenges with climate change. We have a rising inflation rate. We basically have a cleavage in our society between actually old guard movements and new possibilities with new innovation. But if you think positively about all that, actually, I think we have in our hands technology that can help solve some of our most pressing challenges. And so I would highly encourage you to think through what can you do with the skills that you have to actually help solve one of the most pressing challenges that the world has. And when I think about actually what are some of those verticals, or how can you think about recreating the world that we're in for the better, there are three words that come to mind: rethinking ownership, rethinking communities, and rethinking incentives. And so my hope in the next couple of slides is to show you what rethinking ownership could look like, what rethinking communities could look like, and what rethinking incentives could look like. So ownership. In the world of Web 2, it's been very much all about, the content you create and the data that you actually create doesn't belong to you. It belongs to very large players. It belongs to centralized entities who will do whatever they please, truth be told, with your data or with your content. One such example is, for example, if you're an Instagram influencer today, the content you've created and the following you've created is not yours. It could be gone anytime. And so with the tools that we have and with Web3, how can we actually rethink that? How can we actually empower the development of agencies so that we can protect ourselves against those behavior that sometimes can be abusive in the Web2 world, because then we're at the mercy of platforms without really owning our destiny. Two examples of that within the Near ecosystem. One is actually Uminter. I was talking about Instagram. Uminter is exactly trying to do that. They're rethinking from head to toe, what would it look like if we had an Instagram where you can actually own not only your pictures, but also your account. So imagine you've created an account with followers and you want to take that somewhere else, or you want to sell the entire account to someone, you could do that. Another such great example is also Tamago. Tamago is actually a platform that's rethinking music. So today artists have to go on platforms and beg for making sure that they can get a fraction of the money that they should be getting. What if we can actually rethink ownership of music and actually distribution of music? That's what Tamago is doing. Check it out. It has some super cool music. I love, in particular, I love some indie music that I found there that I found really nice. So that's rethinking ownership. Now, let's talk about communities. What Web3 empowers and enables us to do is actually rethinking what working together, what engaging together means. And so how can we do that? How can we be more inclusive? How can we have a world where actually it's not about your CV, it's not about your pedigree, but it's actually what you care about and how you actually want to engage in this community? Well, that's possible today, right? And we can do that, whether it's like creating DAOs or whether it's actually engaging differently and participating and earning money differently. And so creating a free world where we can come together and decide collectively on things that we care about together and decide how we want to allocate those resources is what community is about. And so a couple of examples on that. I mentioned earlier in the presentation, actually, regional hubs. And so regional hubs for us are extremely important to create that local vibe, right? To create that vibe where you can actually learn collectively together and actually continuously empower and create the next skills that you will need if you want to thrive in the world of tomorrow. And so that remaking and reshaping of local communities coming together, super important. Here you have a couple of examples of our basically community in Kenya, our community in the Balkans, and our community in Ukraine, which is now exiled in Portugal. Talking about Ukraine, the power of DAO has been extremely important in the Near ecosystem when the war hit. And so what we've been able to do is actually seeing that with the DAO, focusing on actually raising for Ukraine and helping in less than a couple of weeks, over 10 millions were raised by Unchained DAO. And that enabled to show that actually in a couple of hours, you can create an ONG and you can very transparently and fairly and actually in a very seamless way, distribute the money to where it's most needed and in the fastest possible way. So DAOs are fundamental in helping reshape and rethink how actually society can evolve and how we can galvanize fast on topics that matter to us. So we've talked about ownership, we've talked about communities, and now incentives, right? So what are the things that actually Web3 empowers us just to do and to rethink? And actually, how can we rethink incentive and the construct of our society? So incentives, when I think about that, is like creating a world where we can explore new economic primitives and new models of incentivations to coordinate at scale, but also to completely change the way we work and the way we live. And so here, you often will hear about the movement of like X to earn, right? So it can be actually about what is it, move to earn and learn to earn and play to earn and all the things, or like plant a tree to earn, right? What are the things that we can actually do today that completely change the mental models that we have of actually how do you create wealth and how do you actually start engaging into different economical models? So on here, we've actually partnered with Sweatcoin, which is an application. It's a Web2 application. Super proud to be partnering with them to actually transform the world of Web2 into Web3 and make sure that if you, for example, if you walk, you can get sweat coins. And what if the sweat tokens are actually financial value, right? And so that's what you can do. So if you're a big walker, I highly encourage you to try it out. And if you're not yet a big walker, well, this is a good incentive for actually getting you to move and be healthy. Learn Near Club has been quite instrumental for the Near ecosystem. And so here the paradigm shift that we are trying to work on is basically to say, well, what if rather than actually having to pay to go to school, we pay you if you learn, right? And so that whole movement is definitely happening. And check it out if you're big on learning more about Near, Learn Near Club, super cool. And the last pillar here that you see, I've touched a little bit on gaming, right? But there is definitely a lot also happening in that world and rethinking what it means to play to earn, basically. And so that's it. And again, I just want to say first, a huge thank you to all of you for participating in the Athena Hackathon. We're super, super proud to be sponsors. I hope you'll build fantastic things. I hope you'll get the support and the help that you need from the team. I hope you join the Near ecosystem, and I hope that we can see you build the things that the world needs to become a better place. Thank you.